Right, we can always shut this door once we get going, and it'll keep the warmth in. I don't think it's actually too bad up here, warmth-wise. So what happened was I got an email, the lights downstairs keep going wrong, and apparently it's tripping the fuses for the whole building. So that's why we're up here. If anybody didn't get the email, that's why we're here. They said they'd try and get them fixed as soon as they can, but who knows how long that will be. And I didn't want to cancel classes, so I've arranged for us to come up here. Obviously, this is the bar area, so we've got to keep it nice and clean and tidy. So just particularly, I've covered all this, most of the bar tables, apart from the one Joan's using. I obviously brought the grey tables up. Just be careful with the chairs, because it will be paint on chairs and things like that. On that, I think that's more or less it. I popped in yesterday just to check that there were heaters, and obviously there are. And yesterday it was nice and sunny. It really was really warm to come up here, so it can get very warm. I don't know how long we'll be here, whether it'll be just a week or what, but I'm sure if we can't go downstairs, try and be up here. So I'm thinking this maybe the last week for the quick project that we've been doing in January. This is our last week of January. And what I've been trying to encourage you to do is work from observation if you can, but if not, work from pictures. But really, it's sort of quick projects that you can complete within a session. That's the idea for this particular project. Last week, I don't know what I've done with it now. I had did a couple of demos, which I seem to have lost. But yeah, really looking at colour. So I did a refresher of the colour wheel last week. So I was looking at using primary colours, and when I find my examples I'll dig them out. So I did a couple of paintings where I just mixed all the colours with the primary colours or with primary colours and white, just to see how far you can go. So with the next project I'll look at some of the other colours and talk a bit more about other colours, because sometimes I know I go over this an awful lot. I do this at least once a year, but maybe look at some of the other kind of colours and colour mixes and things like that. I thought I'd introduce our next project so that you've got a bit of a heads up for next week. So the next project I've planned it's called Looking into the Light, and I've forgotten my books that I had as references, but so it's basically looking for pictures where the light source is like in the far distance, really. So, and it creates a particular kind of mood and atmosphere. It's often referred to as contre-jour, which is like the French term for against the light. So what happens is like the subject is quite often silhouetted against a light source. So it could be a landscape, a seascape, an interior. You could be anything really. You could set a still life up in that way if you wanted. But basically, the basic idea is that the light source is kind of behind you. I've got a couple of examples that I brought in. These are all ones that I've used been demos. So they're not actually all finished. So, well, that one wasn't. That was really pretty much any sunrise or sunset. If you're looking towards the sun, that's going to be a contre-jour. And you'll find that, so this was a little one I did beginning of the month. Things like the boat are silhouetted against the sky. This was another one. I think one or two students have had a go at this one already. So this was like a scene where the light source is back here, and the trees effectively lose most of the colour. I think Kathy had a go at this one, didn't you? Yeah. So there's maybe some sort of light catching leaves and things like that, but effectively you've got and it makes for quite a nice dramatic atmospheric sort of paint image. Quite often when I've been doing demos for workshops, I've sent a few photos, and they've quite often picked one that's like a contre-jour. So that's another one I did as a demo for one part group. And this is the most recent one that wasn't quite finished. The kind of two tree island one from one of my photographs. In terms of references, if you did want to move on to this subject either this week or next week, that's the sort of thing to look for. So if you could always do like image searches for contre-jour or against the light. Some of my photos, I started sorting a few out which are in this folder here, and some of my other photos that were around here some. I don't really have a folder that is just Contre-Jour images, but quite a lot of mine will be anyway. So it's a matter of just identifying for yourselves. So if you fancy that as a project, that's what we'll be doing over the next few weeks, and I'll bring a couple of books in as references as well. How's that? Is that all good? Any questions? Yeah. Okay, right. Okay, I'll let you crack on then.